It's like, yeah. Not on the grid, man.
I was never here.
Yeah, have high contrast so you can tell.
Okay, now we need a special... Why did you send me a picture?
I sent you all the pictures that I took of you that you wanted. And then a picture of Allie.
That's worth way more than the rest, I'm sure. Okay. Do you want to hold this so I could spill bad juice all over your bed?
Sure.
Bee juice.
Yes.
Hot bee
So
juice.
we're recording day 2 now, I guess. As James is walking over the place where I sleep.
He crawls.
With his new chair.
He crawls.
With his
That
new-
is-
New
That could be
replacement
summed
And
up.
chair.
yet he crawls.
Oh.
It's the sequel to Crawl,
Yes,
where there's
exactly.
no crocodiles and just a really weird person. Okay,
This
this
is
is
weird,
good.
creepy biblical verse.
Okay, so decay is setting in because I
Yes.
don't have to do anything anymore except go to see my students' posters to make sure that
Are you going to protect them from bullies?
I sent them the This Is PS thing because I think that's important, and they all looked at me, and then Brendan said, "I think they thought you were telling them not to do anything bad."
Because
I
you
mean,
sent
that's
it
fine,
without
too.
context.
That's good. There's just let them interpret it as they will.
Yes.
Make good choices.
Well, it's important that those things are in place because then I'm way less likely to commit murder if somebody does something. Like, if I know they're going to report it, I'm less likely to just fucking choke the person out.
Yeah.
So,
Day 2!
Well, we should edit that part out.
oh no,
That may not be part of choking in someone out. May not be.
No,
that's way better than the thing I have to edit out from yesterday.
I was going to say, and I'm pretty sure you... Wait, no, I don't know if your conversation about trying to have Anna kill her roommate was...
No, that was a Twitter thing in private. There was a private message, thank you.
Did you ever reassure them that you were doing it for their benefit?
Wait,
That this is PS
Wait,
information?
the murder part? Yes.
I'll skip. I have no idea what that's
Okay.
about. I wasn't here.
Okay, that's fair.
But
Just light
I mean,
murder,
more-
it's fine.
So are we going to reintroduce
So I was
you
gonna say,
now?
we've got Carlie here, and we've also got Brendan, and Allie is back.
And can I just say right away, I'm sorry.
I appreciate the apology.
I began dragging Carlie here a long time ago.
I'm not dragged. I just
You
refused.
were never dragged. You were like, "Can I be on?"
Yeah.
No, there were like 9 of us, 9 tables of PRI folk, and Carlie's was the only table that they wouldn't accept money from.
Yeah, that was challenging.
Interesting.
Yeah, Warren
Everyone
threatened to leave without paying, and then they
Yeah.
finally brought us checks.
Where were you?
At the Cornish.
the Cornish pasty.
Really?
Mhm.
All the rest of us
Yeah. it's
paid
really good.
Yeah, I
and
went there for
were
lunch.
done, and they still
Yeah.
hadn't brought them checks, and then a half an hour
Oh, that
still
reminds
passed.
me, I need to see why Warren's check bounced.
Okay.
I'm sure it didn't, but
You were checking it bounce
no.
from PRI?
No,
I
think the
my
bank bounced.
online deposit system for some reason has failed.
Yes.
And so I jokingly
Yes.
suggested it's because Warren's check bounced. But it's probably
Before
because
going up.
I don't think Carlie is in that image at all, James.
she was.
No,
I can farther away.
She's there. The
Okay,
strap is
okay,
blocking
good.
your view.
Good. Okay.
Yep.
I
Good.
can't see.
Good.
I
Good.
can't see.
I like the
Carlie's
fact
there.
that you trust me, Curtis.
No.
But we say we could see her.
Yes.
I don't need
50% of the room exists.
I don't
50%
need
of the
to
room
chug.
doesn't
Curtis,
exist.
I don't need to chug a cup of caffeine to function.
No, I do.
A cup of caffeine.
That was more than a cup. That was an impressive amount.
Yeah.
By the way,
For
can
5
we
p.m.
dwell for a moment on Curtis's very fake laugh that he just gave me?
We'll have to rewind the videotape and listen to it.
Yeah, I can get up and do
A
that.
moment.
Yeah.
Yes, a moment of silence. I'll add it in post. It's okay. Okay, I should get out the things I saw. I spent most of my time in the paleocology session.
Yep.
Except for I went to the speleology session to see one of our master students give a very good talk.
Very cool.
So,
Spent my entire time in the paleoecology, paleobiogeography section.
I saw
Well,
some
pop-ups.
education.
I
University
wanted to.
in
I saw
there.
some of that.
But I was back and forth between paleoecology
I'm
and
kind of irritated that they've put most of that in the other building because it.
No, the
There's
diversity
one-
one was there. Yeah.
So
Okay.
you were in 226 and they were in 227.
But I was so
Yeah,
frustrated because
that's
it was
okay.
like everything that I wanted to see was overlapping with each other.
But they were
between
also
the two.
doing the 5-minute offset thing. So
Yeah.
that's why I missed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And made it to yours and then left yours to go back over there
Yeah.
and then came back.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
That happened.
That's good.
I can fill you in. That's the joy of
Only
it.
Did
one
you,
of
did
us
you
had
see,
to
Did
go.
you see Matt Damon's
That's-
talk?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
wanted
Rainbow
to see
Dinosaurs.
No.
Because he's been collecting data for a while on that aspect of diversity,
Oh.
and I wanted to see it, but I think it was
Yeah.
literally during.
No, I think it was during. It might have been during yours or during Emily's.
Yeah, it was.
So I
just
wanted
during,
to
during
see it,
Emily's.
and
it was during one of those clusters
Yeah.
where it was not really possible for.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Enough about the things we didn't see.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did
What
we
an
see?
interesting story.
I
What
saw
an interesting
cats.
podcast.
We
Like,
saw
talk for an hour
cats.
about this.
Cats.
Ooh.
Cats. Yeah.
Cats. The
Cats,
cats
the cave
are
cats.
too
Okay.
small.
I appreciate that.
Oh, that's from Curtis. That's so that I could
Cats be cats.
figure out which talk Curtis called Cats
Yeah.
Be Cats.
I appreciate
Now,
that.
aside from the fact.
Well,
that
no.
in the
I
film
was just constantly whispering to Corey because there were all these like gifs of cats cut or pictures of cats cut out, and the last slide was like a cat leaning back, kind of looking a little bit like this,
It's like drawing like one of your French girls.
like Malcolm from when he unbuttons the shirt in Jurassic Park,
Yes,
and it's just like I just went that cat is sliding into your DMs.
Okay. I didn't make it to that talk. I slipped in.
That's okay.
Tell us more.
Yes, tell
Those
me.
who went.
Yes,
It was about cats.
it was ecological niche modeling and trying to look at how the potential fundamental niche of these cats are changing if they do or do not come in contact with each other. The idea that there might be niche partitioning or sort of competition that could force things into different parts of their niche space.
Who is doing this work?
It's
Nick Framemuller and
Corey was on it.
Corey and Smith.
Felisa Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yay! I
So-
remember people.
So the fundamental take-home message here is that they ran across multiple timescales where these things are or are not interacting, and they saw no fundamental shift.
And it was a potential release thing because after the big cats die, there's medium-sized and smaller cats.
That
Are
could
they
be then
small big
occupying
cats
different
or are they big
niches.
small cats?
Is this North American?
It was
Yes,
North
this is
America.
niche specifically.
So in
So like
North
the
America,
bobcat doesn't change its niche space in response to the extinction of the large lion-like cats.
hmm
Oh, this I can't wait to bring this back.
And
Yes.
Homotherium likes to live right on the edge of the ice sheet.
Homotherium is weird and looks like a dog. Homotherium is terrifying. Its head is wrong.
Is it? I mean, they were. Is that what they were looking at?
No, but I looked at it
No.
and I saw it.
No,
It's
there was
terrifying.
an outline, a black
Oh.
outline, and so he then filled in the details and then imagined it as wrong because he saw a talk that was all about like filling in the imaginary details of multiple shapes that he can't possibly.
Oh,
Reconstruct
I heard
it.
of
Hey,
that.
hey, hey!
Um,
An external confirmation from Mark that talk did happen.
No.
As I described.
But did it actually dilate time in the way that you described it, where you thought it went on for an hour and realized it was 5 minutes?
No, it was the opposite. He thought that it was. Wasn't it the opposite? I thought that it was a 20-minute talk, and he thought 10 minutes had been.
what is time?
Time is a
Is
flat
it a
circle.
series of spheres and spheres? Because
When
it
the
might be.
voices bubble up from below and tell you about the joys of returning back to the deep, time just disappears.
I have all the abstracts over there. And I'm mentioning this now because I remember nothing from this morning, it turns out. So if you could just pass me the abstracts, I might remember some stuff.
So before Cats Be Cats,
Thank
I
you.
saw a talk and it was life history in bivalves, and I'm only going to mention this because one thing that came up that I thought was interesting was they had different regions, and one set was museum specimens and one was newly collected,
No.
and they saw differences that were not the way they expected them to be, and it's probably because in the 1930s Florida wasn't having a shell fishery for quahog clams.
Oh, okay.
And so they're like, this is the opposite trend that we see in all other times, but it's probably just that 2019 is not 1930. And
That's true.
so in geology world, that's not a very large amount of time.
No.
But apparently it's enough to reverse a long-term trend.
Have you seen the trends in extinction over the last 200 years?
Yeah, but they're clams.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a mollusk.
Hey, guess
You know
what,
what the
Brendan?
error bar is on all those figures? It's like as big as the diversity of clams.
Yeah.
Guess what, Brendan? You want to know the one thing we don't look at? The ocean. You want to know the one thing we really don't fucking look at? Invertebrates in the ocean.
No, but
Except
this is
all
one
us.
we eat, so at least it's one we eat.
That means it's important.
Yeah.
I do like clam chowder.
No, but I enjoyed that bit.
Makes me a bad
While
vegetarian.
James is catching up on his
Kind of a little
abstracts.
bit.
I was noticing all the posters I meant to see that I didn't get to because some band was playing real loud.
Oh, what was the band situation?
The band wasn't a bad band, but it didn't need to be there.
Yeah, that was
During
my
the
thought.
posters?
Yeah.
Loud music means
Yes.
you could not hear a
It was very difficult to have a conversation. They were a good
Wow.
band, but yeah.
The number of people who made the same joke about it being as why the band was there, they're like, because it's a rock band. It's like, okay, that was not funny the first time. It's definitely not funny the third, fourth, and fifth.
Wow.
I mean, it was fine, but yeah, the posters.
It doesn't sound like it was fine. It
No,
sounds
no,
like
no.
it ruined
No,
people's hard work.
Yes, your thing. But the thing, they were a good band. You don't want to in any way attack
Yes.
the band.
No,
Yes.
I'm
It's
thinking,
the people who scheduled the timing of the
I'm
band,
just
Yes.
thinking like
which should have
GSA
been an
knows-
hour and a half later than it
Yes.
started.
GSA
Yes.
knows what we're here to do. Just be geologists.
Presumably.
No, geology is what we're here to GSA is what we're here to do, which is to deny climate change.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Yeah, there's that too.
Well, they could either have the booth that everyone ignores, or they can have the press write-up of they're refusing to let that one credentialed guy who disagrees speak.
Oh, I know.
Yes, because we have to treat everything as a binary, even if it's 1 and 1,000.
I'm pretty sure GSA has enough money to fight off any potential lawsuits.
But really, if they just had better graphic designers, I might have taken them a little bit more seriously, because
If-
that was bad.
If they had
Wow, I
updated
didn't
their
look at it.
website at any point in the last 10 years, you might take them more seriously.
Or are they still in
Yeah.
GeoCities?
Oh.
No,
No, Angel Fire.
Yeah.
Of course. The best gifts.
I'm watching Brendan. You look like you have something to say.
No, I don't. I just,
Okay, well,
I'm
so-
just thinking through.
He does this to people a lot, and in fact, now that he's been in a number of defences or proposals for my students, it's real funny watching him ask a question, them answer it, and he stare at them, and they go, and like wilt, and be like, "What do you want from me?" And he's like, "I'm just letting you answer it if you want." I'm like, "Brendan, they've clearly finished. You've been sitting there for
Yeah,
5
yeah,
minutes."
no, you
staring
are
at them."
literally just torturing people at that point.
He does it to me
I won't
sometimes.
put that in the letter of recommendation.
Makes me feel very uncomfortable.
I'm not
Look
trying
forward
to
to
make
the-
anyone feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We had this conversation that was, I'm 5 feet tall. I don't think I could be intimidating.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, I was gonna make a Napoleon joke.
I was just like, and
He was
To
much
avoid-
taller than me.
recapitulating historical inaccuracies.
Yeah.
I will not discuss
Yeah.
bring Napoleon up.
Yeah.
Yeah, not actually as short as they say.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
He was
So-
7 inches taller than me.
Yes.
Is that the length of the abruptor? Is that the difference?
No, abrupt is bigger than that.
So if we made Brendan a hat of abrupta, he'd be taller than Napoleon.
So, moving on.
So there were 2 more talks that were flipped, and they were also about missing spaces and,
Yes.
and megafauna.
And megafauna, and they were all looking at Hull's cave.
Hmm And then there were
The
missing piece graphics from the Shel Silverstein book.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I think I only saw one of those talks. I only saw the second one.
So the first one introduced the concept.
Okay.
So the cool thing that I got out of that, which is not what they were talking about, was that there is a photograph of the sediments, and you just see the climate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, so I mean, the things like the PETM and the younger dryas, they have a significant impact on geochemistry and sedimentology. So you can actually see those types of signals in the sedimentological record.
That's neat.
Yes, and they have fossils before, and they have fossils that translate after, and so they were sampling those. They had radiocarbon dating, and so they were able to get a decent idea of the timing of those individual events, and they correlated with the expectation of, again, the Yoker Drives effect. And then they also ran carbon isotope work and nitrogen isotope work.
This was the one where 1 centimeter was 80 years or something.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like, it was super
Oh yeah.
well resolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is this?
It's a cave.
Where?
It's in
Hall's
Texas.
Cave.
Edwards Plateau.
Mm.
I remember that part.
Was this where you had strong opinions? Or
Yeah. I
Okay.
had thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the time to share them.
Yeah.
This is when I had the frowny face. Okay, because I knew I was gonna be foot tapping when the talk started off with how humans killed the megafauna. I was like, oh, okay, well, we have fundamental disagreements here. But the thing that really, like, I don't know if I misunderstand the concept or they were misapplying it, but I feel like Bergman's rule couldn't have applied on that scale in that way when they were looking at, like, the...
Oh, so you were talking about the
yeah.
third one with the mice.
I only went to third. Yeah,
Oh,
that was the one.
next one.
Okay, that was the next one. I didn't go to the first one.
Rodents of unusual size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Followed by
Yes.
scraggly rats.
Yes. They were kind of...
Those
cute in an ugly
silhouettes
way.
are like hard scraggly rats.
Yes. But no, so they're trying to apply Bergman's rule to the way that these, okay, the frustrating thing about it is because Bergman's rule is referring to the proximity to the tropics to the poles. But they were talking about it in terms of...
A global climate signature.
Yes, an increasing or decreasing
Yeah.
temperature. And I feel like that is not necessarily going to be related in that way. Just, like, there are other things going on. So it seemed very strange to me that was the thing they were, like, brought it up every single slide, and it was, like, talking about, like, this did not follow Bergman's rule. I don't think that this is Bergman's rule. Just changes in temperature.
I don't think
Yeah.
that word means what you
Right!
think.
That's, I just kept thinking, I was like, do I
Says the man
misunderstand
who
this?
actually
I don't
said
think
that
I
gift.
misunderstand this. I kept, like, grabbing people after the talk. I'm like, I need to talk to someone
Yeah.
about this.
You on the street, what's Bergman's rule?
Yeah.
I literally was seeking you guys out. I'm like, please let me record with you because I have something I want to talk about. Like, I had thoughts. Because otherwise it was kind of interesting. Like,
Yeah.
you know, basically micro mammals are the equivalent of plants and no one cares. So, like, I get it. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. But it's like, I don't know.
Well, so that was actually the third talk
I know.
in an entire series.
I only made it to the third.
That's fine. That's fine. But it was fundamentally a series of talks trying to look at the potential missing data that we're seeing in our modern diversity and our modern ecosystems due to the lack of the megafauna,
Right.
and trying to see shifts in dietary habit and shifts in carbon cycling and nutrient cycling.
Which is super
About the
cool. And I remember when I was an undergrad and I read the Pleistocene rewilding paper.
Yeah.
And, like, it's
Yeah,
that whole concept.
those
Yeah.
ideas of bringing elephants back to the system to try and...
Because, you know, there's no downside.
Yeah, and it's not like elephant, mammoth, basically the
I
same
see
thing.
that.
Why don't we do it?
Right. Well,
It'd
and
be
it
excellent.
was also...
Aren't there elephants in Texas in a park?
Yeah, people have private game farms.
Sure, and there's also like a lot of like African mammals that have escaped into South America due to like drug cartels and...
I thought you were talking about the Waco mammoth site. Like,
Okay.
they're not.
No, I mean rich people.
Yeah, the people
Oh,
have
no, 'cause
private
what
game
we
farms.
really-
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I buy
Oh,
that.
okay.
But I was like, the mammoths are dead.
Well, wasn't it Escobar that got released?
Oh, the hippos.
The hippos,
The
yeah.
hippos,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hippos are the most dangerous thing.
Yes.
Well, yes.
But what we really need is to release elephants, a thing that destroys any large foliage you can
Yes.
find.
Yes. This would not be...
Totally not a problem with deforestation.
Oh, no, not ecologically and economically dangerous to do.
No.
No, of course not.
When they get
It's so
bored, they
exciting.
play with cars.
So
Oh,
exciting.
great! Luckily.
You know what, here's the thing. Again, you were talking about, we're having the conversation was with Corey, right? Our two options are slow or fast apocalypse. If human beings kill themselves off quickly, the world will be a better place. If human beings continue to persist for long enough, and then the ecosystem is fucked.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, many
On a
things.
happier note,
But she
I appreciate.
chose to have children.
Sure.
I'd like to hear her thoughts on that. If those are her two outcomes, apocalypse
No, she was reporting
Yeah.
other.
She was reporting other people's actual discussions,
Yeah.
but she
So
did
that-
consider it a fundamentally life-changing
Well, the other
moment.
thing as well is that it wasn't just the how quickly do people die off, but it's also the more we try to help, the more we just create cascading problems.
That's true.
So we should
Just
just
let it
like,
go.
yeah.
I don't-
You know, I'll go back to eating clam chowder.
I don't know. There's a level of fatalism to that, the assumption that we can't actually understand things in systems theory that I don't necessarily
Yes,
agree with.
but every single thing we've tried to do, like the sargassum
But that's
graphs to
not
stop the
entirely
winds,
true because there are fundamental changes in the ways in which we're trying to handle, like, I feel like those kinds of very reductive views of what is and is not natural are fundamentally
Here's
antithetical
the
to
thing. The thing we
conservation.
did right is we decided to get a pellet gun and start shooting all the cats on New Zealand, and nobody likes to see that. So
Let's move on.
What was your bright? You had a bright side or something
Yeah.
positive.
Oh, I like the term micromammal because it's the ultimate expression of all vertebrates are teeth.
Oh, yes.
It's like, here's a micromammal. It's
So-
this big, and here's its tail, but its teeth are this big.
So for all these nutrient studies, they were looking at carbon isotopes and nitrogen isotopes, and you had thoughts, or rather,
carbon and nitrogen.
you had thoughts
Oh.
based upon. I would assume they had to be doing delta carbon and delta nitrogen. They might have just been simplifying it for the actual data
Sorry, I
set.
just got the picture of Ali. No, Alison was explaining this all to me.
Yeah.
Because Alison knows about all this stuff. And so basically, a lot of the discussion she had was her explaining to me, an idiot, what the talk was about. But I did have a question, which was, if it's very bimodal, do you get a large error bar or do you stay very well constrained medium? And she said, yes. Depends.
So, carbon isotopic signatures, when you standardize them to a delta, are going to either prefer one side of a spectrum of a C3 plant because it's going to be enriched in certain types of carbon and depleted in other types of carbon, and you're going to see a different signal with C4 plant. Somewhere in the middle, you're going to see a CAM. And the phrase "you are what you eat" is actually true, and we've discussed this on the podcast multiple times.
Plants are best and most important.
Yes, because they're the fundamental base of the ecosystem.
Yes.
They're the ways in which the biosphere has captured sunlight and therefore has
Yes.
allowed that sunlight to feed through the rest
and
of the
they
biosphere.
change the world. Plants are best. That's all. Just
There
want
we
to
go.
remind
Yeah,
you.
yeah, no worries, no worries.
It needs to be said from time to time because we don't get enough love. I say we like I am a plant.
Yeah.
No, I'm Team Batman.
I was gonna say, I understand this is the slow, inevitable change towards poison ivy.
I really wish I could photosynthesize. Like that would be really
That would be
convenient.
very good because I imagine it would be healthier than eating.
I don't know if that's.
Oh,
Plants still need nutrients, and
Yeah.
if we're not rooting,
That's true.
I'm
but
fairly
you-
certain we would
But
need.
if you supplement it,
Tablespoon
Look, if you
of
just fly
dirt.
trap, we just
Yeah,
start
exactly.
eating a bunch of bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
no, I mean,
honestly
we hope
is
it's
probably a
bugs.
better protein
We'll
choice.
just eat the non-photosynthesizing people.
this is actually like that's a pretty good horror movie. Like people slowly start turning into plants, and then they
I feel like that's
the
a
other
thing in the
people who
trophies.
don't like that turns
Yeah.
into plants.
I was going
That's
more
a
weird
thing.
scanners. You know,
I
everybody
don't
gets
watch a lot of
infected
horror.
by a parasite
Yeah.
and then tries to either kill or infect the other person with the parasite. Yeah.
Hmm. Although I'm pretty sure humans are basically by this point just processed meat, so that's real bad for you.
that's true. So maybe not the people.
Maybe
And
not
mostly
people.
chickpeas, part black bean.
I feel like we.
So what you're saying
We'll
is
start
good
with
for you,
vegetarian.
right?
Outside. Thank you very much.
They'll be too tough and gamey. They won't be entertaining. We want those nice corn-fed individuals.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's a direct competition between the people who are plants and the vegetarians.
Ooh.
No, what
Oh.
we'll do is we'll just go to.
Sounds
Good.
We'll just go and leach from the acid mine drain and get all the nutrients we need out of that. It's full of minerals.
We took this conversation to basically the C Lab 2021. Would you put your brain in a robot body conversation?
Yes, if it was an
Oh.
octopus robot body, because then I wouldn't need to use stairs and I could push people to death with my hugs.
You're not the boss of Tiger Bot Hash.
Oh my god.
So the isotopic record can be translated up to the things that eat what they eat what they eat.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that's where they were looking at the tapestry of
And there's
nutrients
all
that
the-
were lost.
And the thing that I thought was very interesting was that the stuff in the middle has the biggest error bars, which is where my question to Alison came in, and she said that depends. But apparently camels are pretty easy about what they'll eat.
Yeah.
And so are cougars.
Yeah.
And it's all the stuff that's predatory, all the stuff that C4 has gone because those were the things that were the big animals, and the things that ate the big animals have
Yes.
also gone.
Yes. And that was the idea, that if the big animals go, these things that seem like they're carbon isotopic structures are also associated with that, but they're predators, they also tend to go. So you wipe out the food source and everything else cascades afterwards.
But as we know, dogs will eat pizza.
Yes, we did
So-
talk about that. Dogs will eat pizza.
There was a good talk about dogs and what they eat, and then it was like,
Is it here?
yeah,
Yeah,
yesterday.
last
You
week.
missed
Yeah,
it,
it's right.
sadly.
Last
week.
week.
Yeah, like last week.
but-
I was
But there was like
Last
there was
week
a
in an
talk,
APC.
and it was like
Jesus.
so dogs are carnivores, but dogs will eat a variety of things. It was a slide of 3 pictures of wolves.
And a wolf.
One wolf had just like an entire
Watermelon.
rolled up pizza in its mouth. Another one had a watermelon, and then there was another one in a tree that there was no way it should have been able to get up there or support it, and we could not tell what it was eating, but it was eating something.
It was some kind of insect. Like the argument had to be insects because he was talking about insects as a
Yeah.
food source.
And these were all wolves.
All
These were all
wolves
wolves,
doing
but it
this.
was a wolf in a tree where the twigs were like
Yeah.
as thin as my glasses.
Well, they're mostly fluff.
Yeah, but the dog with the pizza was
That's
very good.
really funny.
So this cave talks went on for 3 talks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what you had a problem with the isotopes?
It was so
Or
you
question?
had so there was another thing that I found I was just fascinated by, and I kept. So in addition to thinking that they misapplied Bergman's rule, I was just they had such variability in sample sizes, and when they were showing their means, especially on the really big things, like I don't necessarily buy that
Their box and whisker diagram was he was only interested in looking at the top,
right,
which
and-
is like looking at the extremes in
wait.
your variable as opposed to the
Yes,
It's very
average.
hard if you're not seeing this top. What
So,
were they putting in
okay.
these diagrams?
So
Size.
you
Size
have-
of tooth rows.
Yeah, so
it was the maximum
Yes.
size that they were comparing. So like just the top of the whisker of the
Yeah.
box and whisker spot was what they were talking about in the talk.
right.
But with different data sets, like pre and post.
So it was
Yes,
the same
pre-
species
yes,
at
yes,
different
yes.
times.
And so there's a potential sampling issue of like
Yeah.
maybe the size
Well-
maximum size constraint is not necessarily
In-
biologically
In one
meaningful.
of the groups, I don't remember which one it was because they were all mice things.
'Cause
um,
like the means stay the same.
There was
Yes.
the, there
I
was the
get
mice
it,
that,
I get it.
I
Yeah.
like the murder mice.
the
We're
murder
supposed to
mice
do
that
a
get
weird
very
plot
big.
in here.
Yes.
and how
Like,
Yeah,
and
no,
how
no,
to
no.
defend their territory
Yes.
and murder other mice, and then pocket gophers.
Hey, how?
Yeah,
I
Pocket
sent you a
gopher-
video.
Okay,
I sent you a video this
Yeah, I watched
for
it.
what we should talk about.
okay.
but
And then you were
It
like,
howls at the moon.
Yeah.
In the video that Curtis sent.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a mouse.
It's a
It's
murder
a howling
mouse.
It's a wolf
mouse.
mouse.
Yeah.
Murder
They
mice.
eat other mice. They're immune to scorpion venom, and they attack preferentially scorpions because they
by the
love
way,
them.
I think I've seen this.
They said they're immune to scorpion venom, and I leaned across to Alison and said, "This is why snakes kill us in one bite. Because the fucking mice keep developing their immunity."
But in one of the groups immediately after, so it was like they had pre-extinction and post-extinction. And the post-extinction immediately after, it was talking about, oh, look at this big change, and there was like 3 or 4 points. It's like I don't
Yeah.
like, not a great.
Yeah, the thing that was probably the most potentially problematic is that it wasn't so much that some of the sample sizes are small, but that it was randomly small on one
Yes.
side versus the other, and
Yes.
it wasn't the same every time.
Right.
And,
so
and it wasn't resampled. There was no
Yeah.
kind of bootstrapping to the data to trying to correct
And
that.
those were my primary
Gotcha.
sad faces from faces
Uh-huh.
on my notes.
But not about the isotope work.
No.
Okay.
Well, no.
Okay.
I just was. I at first I was cranky, but then I was like, it's a cave. Of course, there's no like, because I get annoyed when people do isotopes but don't really try to corroborate with any sort of actual plant material. But it's a cave. There's no plants in there because they're too smart to fall in. I mean, they don't move, but that's beside the point. They're too smart to
I
fall in
think
the
it
cave.
washed it,
That's
but then
true.
you've got an accumulation of mulch.
You could have pollen. Pollen should blow in sometimes.
Oh, you can talk to Elliot about pollen.
Do
I don't like
pollens contain like
I don't like
the same C3 or C4 signals, the useful bits of the plant? Or?
Well, I mean, okay, yes, but no. So
I mean, also you're sampling the pollen from uplands is so.
I was gonna say, I feel like we're like activating a deep psychological trigger at this
I'm
point.
very upset about that.
So
but
you
no.
start speaking Russian and getting.
I don't necessarily. I have no idea because like spore pollen, and I don't know how well you could actually sample it. I don't know anything about pollen. I hate microscopes, so like Paul and I are not friends. But I'm not sure.
So you like plants as long as they don't reproduce.
Well, no, I don't care what they do on their own time. I just don't know what to do with it. But yeah, I'm not sure. I wonder what the pollen would be like in a cave situation. I don't want to do it, but someone should. Someone should check.
I want to know if the dogs could get hay fever.
Do they
Yes.
now?
Well,
Dogs have allergies?
yes,
now?
dogs have
Dogs
allergies.
have
It's a
allergies.
seasonal allergies.
Yes.
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 Poor dogs.
I
Yes.
only
Because they want to
interact
stick their
with cats.
noses in everything.
I mean, my dog ate pizza on a walk, so like.
As we know,
As-
dogs do.
I was not surprised by that
Yeah.
statement.
No, I
I
was
agree
not.
with that.
Yeah, I was like,
Watch this
That's
happen.
Cats, at least, will only take food off your plate.
And stick their paw in your water glass.
When I had a housemate that I was having to deal with, and I was looking after Amanda's cat, he at one point got pasta and piled it up with like pasta and mince on a plate, and he just piled it up, and he went and put it on the sofa and walked away to do something, and the cat got off me and was like, "Oh, this looks good," and walked over, buried its face in it, and I was just like, "He'll learn." And he came back and was like, "No," and I'm like, now he's learned. You don't leave your food where the cat can get at it.
Yeah.
Like, you need to learn this. This is a learning
Well, you
teachable
can't
moment.
train the cats, so you have to train them.
You have to
Yeah.
say
Yes,
yeah.
For that cat, he really enjoyed that pasta.
That's surprising. Tomato sauce?
This cat,
Yeah.
he...
Yeah, Mr. Giles.
He's a
Mr.
special
Giles
cat.
would eat, like... Yeah, he had real interesting... he really liked Thai food. Really liked Thai food.
Really love deep fat fried pork.
And he would... but because he wanted to get at it, and it was in a polystyrene box, he would just lick the box constantly.
Our cat likes croissants, and he'll knock containers of croissants off the table trying
Yeah.
to get the plastic
Yeah.
open for them.
Uh-huh. So I used to
Don't do
order
butter.
pizza and throw bits of the pizza on the floor for the cat because I go without cheese and the cat would chase it and eat it. Amanda got the cat back and was like, he's real bratty. He keeps trying to get food off me. I'm like, oh, I might have trained your cat to be bad.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Every moment of Mr. Giles being an asshole is just an extension of James.
And
all
I
I
got
know.
to slim down enough so that he could jump on kitchen countertops as well. So,
Oh no.
While feeding him pizza.
yeah.
That's quite a trick.
So there was a lot of stuff about the caves and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That was most of the morning.
I didn't see anything else after that.
After the caves, I ran to the other building where they exiled the learning talks.
Uh-huh. Did you learn anything?
I saw some things. I saw Kathleen Ritterbush's talk that was
Oh, her clade stuff.
the clade stuff. So teaching trees, and instead of teaching cladograms as cladograms, she does at the beginning of just having people draw concentric circles so that people get
I know,
the
I've
idea
seen
that
this.
they're rotatable.
No, I'm just different circles, James. Not the gram
No,
line
it's
circles.
circle. 3D is a sphere.
No, this is 2D. They're ellipsoids.
This is different. This is not the same.
And it was fun because this was a not paleo only session, so like it was somebody was talking about earthquakes and national parks, and it was all different like curricular stuff. And so she was having people hold up their hands for like, you know, on a scale of 1 to 5, how biological are you?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I am a mammal, so I feel like I'm pretty biological.
yeah, well, how trained are you in
Right.
life? That was
Yeah,
also-
also-
All of a sudden, my numbers are going lower.
Okay, so we had pictures of animals.
My thumbs are out of alignment.
And yeah, it was
I said
good.
thumbs, not
Oh.
thumbs.
It was good.
I
Thanks for making
saw
that
the
Scientology
abbreviated
joke
version of it
extra
yesterday
dumb.
that she presented.
Oh, and also she
My thumbs
she
are
tried
out
to
of
move
alignment.
a
Ever since I
whiteboard,
really broke it.
and it fell down, and it was on more than one A-frame, and so some time was lost to
Okay.
trying to move a whiteboard,
Oh.
and it made loud noises.
That's
And
so
then I ran
stressful.
back and saw Camila Martinez's talk, which again the learning talks were in a separate building. And Paleo is in its corner that GSA always puts Paleo
No one
in.
cares.
So I didn't see any of the
Pretty great though,
intro.
because it means you don't have to see actual geologists.
That's true, because I'm not one of those.
Yeah.
Whoa. Like, I just play one on TV.
Uh,
I liked Camila's talk. I was really excited when, because Curt Johnson was asking her questions afterward, and because they were able to access these fossils, because so getting Neogene fossils in the tropics is really hard because there's stuff in the way.
So what is this talk?
So she's a paleobotanist, and she was working in Colombia, and there aren't many exposures of Neogene. There's not many Neogene exposures in the tropics because there's a rainforest in the way.
Yeah.
And so they paired up with this mining company. They were building a dam.
To get rid of the
Yeah.
rainforest.
Yes, they were building a dam, so they had to get rid of the rainforest. They were digging out big exposures, and so they were able to go in and excavate. And they actually ended up lucking out that they were on the not water side of the dam.
Yeah.
And so they, the fossils weren't buried afterwards, and they were, the road cut was far enough away that it wasn't a main road, because on the main roads the road cuts were concreted over.
Yeah.
So they were able to go back, which I don't know. They're really small leaves, like really small leaves.
And what age?
They were some Neogene, or were they Miocene? I feel like they were Miocene. I just like the Miocene, so I might be lying to you.
Late Eocene.
Almost Miocene.
Almost.
I mean, there's no Oligocene.
There's definitely a legacy between those two.
Yeah, it's fine.
The whole initiation of a glacial period.
Don't we not
Climate change.
Don't we not recognise the Oligocene anymore?
No, no, James. We recognize the
I
legacy.
mean, I'm convinced the Pliocene is going to contract into nothing, but the Oligocene is still a thing.
Yes.
No, it was good because it was
You're
the
thinking of
first.
we have the Paleocene now.
Wait, does the Quaternary exist?
No.
No. Well,
Sort
yes.
Don't we keep the Quaternary but not have the Tertiary?
So the tertiary's
The
gone.
tertiary's
Quaternary
gone.
came back because I work with a bunch of quaternary scientists.
Yeah.
Because
Liars.
whatever.
And
Because they're like
Cenozoic
before.
is different from Cainozoic.
In that you spell them differently.
Isn't
Well, I
Cain-
mean,
One is German.
Isn't Cenozoic the good one and Cainozoic's the one that killed his brother?
Yes, exactly.
That's right.
Thank you.
You
I
can put
was,
that in my letter.
going to go for that joke, but I'm very glad.
President is very biblical, would kill his brother if his brother.
Okay. But yeah, it was.
So there were legumes.
Sorry.
In whatever time period.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like beans or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
beans?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
cool, because there are also legumes which are gorse.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
know that.
no.
No.
Gorse also is nitrogen fixing.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a
legume.
legume.
What is it that legumes are?
Okay, so
And
that's
phylogenetically constrained
No,
based upon their
What do they
history and
do?
their
What is the
evolution.
thing?
well, the thing is nitrogen fixing, but there's also the family Fabaceae or
It's not a guild.
Leguminous. I don't know. That's what the
I'm
Brits
talking to
use.
the person that knows, and I had to take 3 plant classes.
Therefore, you somehow know it.
No, I know what a legume is, and I'm asking the question for the person that knows the answer if legumes are a clade or a thing. So,
It's a clade. It's a
okay.
clade.
So when I was taught legume, they meant nitrogen fixing. They use it as a shorthand to teach us because we're idiots.
Possibly.
Legumes are beans.
It's the bean family, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like acacia and locust and all of those friends. And Circe said, I can tell
And
you.
you peanuts.
Well,
Acacia's
no,
a
that's
bean.
not.
Because they're nitrogen fixers, but
Yes,
they're not
but they're
actually
not-
clade legumes.
No, they're weirdos.
Yeah.
But
Palm trees are lies based on fraud.
Palm trees aren't fucking trees.
Yes.
And like,
They are leaves that have got.
So-
they are a series of leaves in a trench coat.
We had this discussion.
That's a great
I was going to use that in my next geology
We had this
studies class.
discussion, and it all
That's
depends
fantastic.
on whether or not you're treating tree as an ecological guild or a phylogenetic group.
it's not a tree unless you have secondary growth. You don't have secondary growth. You don't have
There are
true
not
wood.
Devonian or Carboniferous trees.
Okay. Yes, you're right. They're not real trees. I have very strong feelings.
Because, much like legume issue, as I thought, trees are not a guild, they are a clade that maybe has evolved multiple times. But
I know.
Yes.
No,
Oh,
clay,
they're weird, like old trees. I don't know how I feel
It
about
does
them.
it does fundamentally feel a little bit like, well, whales are fish because they're in the sea.
Yeah.
Well, Lauren just calls it a habit when he teaches it. Yeah,
Well-
like this is a habit.
Yes,
of being
it's a
tall-ish.
tree-like organism.
Well, habit means something very specific. That means like the actual shape of it. So like a woody. So I would call
Tall
it a
with
woody.
fluffy things at the top.
Yeah.
That's
so,
all that he
that
means.
Yes.
describes some people.
Yeah, if you've got a
That's
really
true.
good haircut. I'm just
That's
saying,
true.
you've got
But like,
nice fluffy
so a
things.
woody plant is like that includes vines, lianas, trees, and bushes and shrubs. So that's what a habit is. What shape are you? Which
Those are forms of.
I mean, James is more
Yes.
sphere these days, but that's after the conversation.
Oh, okay, I thought I was being real badly dragged.
No,
Okay.
no, it's
Look,
just
look,
callbacks. Just callbacks.
avocado shaped at worst. Thanks.
avocados are very nutritional. Maybe people should eat you and be
I am mostly a
photosynthetic.
large pip.
So the point being, it was dry and there were lots of plants. There were lots of plants there that were the first records of them in South America, or like.
The reason you can tell that it was dry is because they were itty bitty babies.
A babies.
Yes.
Yes,
They were
and
so cute. They
some-
were so cute. They were so little.
yeah.
I like baby leaves. They make me maternal.
That's,
You're definitely leaning heavily into your poison ivy moment.
has anybody studied plant ontology in a real way?
I got my reviews back on that paper, and I have to resubmit. So, kind of.
50% of the way there.
kind of. I have.
Can you recognize instars?
Well, kind. I
Outside of arthropods, it's very difficult to recognize.
No, I know how plants work. They shed their skin.
I think you're not wrong. But the answer to that is kind of yes, I can for one genus. So if it's not a grape, not very helpful.
Aren't grapes the best plants?
I think they are, except for they're also the worst.
Uh-huh.
I can talk to you about this later. They're the best and the worst. But so if you want a themed celebration, grapes are great because you get wine and like stuffed grape leaves. Like there are many options for a themed celebration.
Is a
So I
fig a savoury grape?
So I saw a.
No, it's not
Is it
savory.
Fig?
A
Yeah.
fig.
It's a fig.
Wait,
No,
I
but
mean
savory.
olive.
Like what?
Yeah,
A
I
fig
will
is
buy
savory
that.
if you count the
Yes.
insect larvae.
Yes, but no, I'll take that. I'll take that. It's like, are you thinking about like the prosciutto wrapped figs? Because that's not natural.
So I was like, I think you're a Greek food because of fig
There are no
leaves, and I
vegan
immediately
figs.
just conflated figs and olives in my head.
Not quite. Not quite.
So let's talk about echinoids and blastoids and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes,
That
let's
seems
do
really
that.
great. Let's
So
talk
saw
about
Jen's
that.
talk.
Yeah,
Jen
yeah.
tried to create the universe and buy geobears.
She did.
Scale it back.
She did, and you and I were the only people who were laughing, and everybody looked at us like we were crazy when she made her really great joke of, I was being really ambitious, and I thought I would run 19 areas and biogeobears, and we went, ah. And everyone looked like we were crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, that
You were
program
not
will not,
crazy.
that program will not have fun running that.
Then it became
Um,
6, and then there were answers.
And then all of a sudden there were
By the way,
answers,
can I
which is
just
much
say
better.
that this abstract is great because you clearly wrote this abstract before the analysis finished running?
Hey,
Because
that's,
it's very
that's
broad.
everyone.
Oh no, it's very great. No, everyone does that. But normally you're not reading the abstract, so I'm being very unfair and having
Yeah.
them here to try to prompt my brain.
Yes.
But I'm
Also-
looking at here's the thing. This is right.
Yeah.
But it's the very broad hand speak that I do when I'm gonna run an analysis at some point, but I'm gonna write back the results now because I need to
Yeah.
yeah.
But it
I
was,
do it with phylogenies, which is dangerous and insidious, and you shouldn't do it. This isn't that. So,
but yes, the North America is very well sampled, and so the initial attempt was to try and break up all 19 potential basins in North America,
Oh.
and also then have a global distribution, which meant it actually was 26 different areas.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Of what?
Blastoids.
Okay.
Yes, and trying to find their geographic range evolved on a phylogenetic tree.
Blastoids are also kind of liars because when you find them preserved, they usually look like balls, but they actually way more look like chronos than you think.
No.
She described, when she came to Baylor, she described them as shrubs to crinoid trees.
Yes, that's a good way of thinking about it
Yes.
from ecological tiering.
Yeah. Which suddenly made sense to me. It's like, okay, cool. Because they always frustrated me. Like, I don't understand the point of view, but, you know, that's unfair. I work with something that's unloved, so I shouldn't be so judgmental.
So.
Yeah, but I wanted to go to that talk, but lunch. So I went to the same place for lunch, and I had a hard time actually, like, leaving. So I
Oh.
understand.
Ah.
And I went to this talk. Are we talking about this talk?
Jen's talk or Emily's
So
talk.
that's Sarah's talk.
Yeah,
It was
that
Sarah's
was-
talk
it was
in
Sarah's
between
talk.
too.
Sarah's and Jen's talk.
Oh, I might have tried to go across to the.
I think you did.
Yeah. I think I tried to go across to the teaching, but it was offset at a weird thing, so I
5
didn't
minutes.
take any
It
notes.
ruined everything.
So do you remember the results of Jen's talk?
They like the East Coast? No. There was a thing that they liked.
Didn't go. I can't help.
They're in an area.
I can't remember off the top of my head what area was actually
restricted.
preferred.
Well, it liked the DCJ model.
Yeah, I do remember the model that it was. That it was
Oh,
dispersal.
Was it her or
Oh,
Sarah that did long distance?
I think Sarah. I think yes, she was the one. She was the one. Jen showed series of long distance dispersal followed by vicariance
Yes.
as the major trend for speciation events.
Yes.
And then it was Sarah who did her analysis, also through biogeovares, and showed preferential dispersal versus vicariance,
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah. Dispersal is the rule of thumb again.
Yeah. Which, I mean, both of those models had the plus J as the preferred model, which is a model that is favoring essentially chance dispersal events for your geographic region. So something jumps a barrier and forms a new species.
I just appreciated all the names of the models, like the diva-like plus J, like
So there's okay.
Bay Area. Like I was just staring at the name.
Bay
Area is
Is it
San
Bay-
Francisco.
I know.
Well, no, it's
That's what I'm thinking.
Bayesian area
No, it's
model.
definitely that one. That's what I interpreted it
Yeah.
as.
Diva is dispersal and vicariance analysis.
These are just like these are high quality
DDC
names.
is dispersal extinction.
Yeah, we're in the golden
Naming
age of
things
model
is
names.
important. I developed a new metric and I eventually called it heterochronic weighting. And for a while I was trying to call it the justified clade level so that it would be the JCL metric.
Nice.
We'll get you an initialism somehow.
I mean, I'm deliberately not describing species now so that maybe people will
People,
name
other
them
people.
after me.
No, not gonna happen.
That was a throwaway statement that I did not intend to make in that talk.
That was really funny.
You were unfortunately not there
I
at
missed
that
that. I missed that.
It's like, yes, that was. Limestone Mark II. Don't talk about this talk.
Mark 2.
You can talk about the talk, you just can't talk about the results.
Limestone.
Then you can't talk about that
So
talk.
the only thing we
You
can
can
talk
talk-
about in that talk is James saying, "I don't feel like describing that."
And what are those called again?
That's all farmers.
No. Those parts, the parts of the spider. What are those called again?
The tracheae.
There. Okay. You did remember it eventually.
You don't fucking know if I'm right.
You're not wrong. I'm just giving you the benefit of the doubt.
I think
So one more time.
tracheae.
Okay. What were you calling them?
I said, I don't know, those things.
Oh, right. I remember.
I don't remember what they're called right now, but they're basically stuff.
Yeah. It was
Is this what
highly
you said
descriptive.
today?
It was highly
I know.
descriptive.
I was going into more detail than I'd originally intended. And then Jen started looming eerily next to me.
Oh, I know. I
Like,
watched it happen.
Because you were going over? Or?
No, I still had, I was yellow, and I'm not colourblind, so I could see it was yellow. She did threaten to start just talking over me if I didn't stop before we even began. So,
Well,
wow.
she did that for everyone. Like,
Yes.
every time the light would turn yellow, she would
She
stand
stood up. Yeah.
yeah.
They train you to do that.
Yeah.
So.
But it was.
That's
it was
a bad
rather
Pavlovian
entertaining.
response to traffic lights.
James was also excited because a paper came out earlier this week that he
Oh,
was able to
right?
reference in his talk.
Nice.
Yes, this paper came out, and I changed my results, and it makes sense now.
Yeah, so that was good.
Yeah.
I get excited when people like scan things because I can't do that with my fossils.
Oh, we can't really do it with mine either.
Right, but I appreciate that you tried. But like anytime people show a scan, I'm like, yeah, just show me visuals, please. Just loop that video. I don't need to hear you talk about anything. I just want
You
to
could
see it.
probably scan if you had 3D fruiting bodies or something like that.
Yeah, but
Or a tree.
We have
you could do that, but I only care about the leaves.
I mean, you could just X-ray leaves. I'm pretty sure they can X-ray leaves because they find people carrying drugs in airports.
I had a conversation
It's
with
mostly
someone.
with dogs.
I had a conversation with somebody today who is
So what you need is
trying to
dogs.
X-ray leaves.
If we just get dogs
So,
and get them to
yes,
fossil
you
leaves,
can
they
do
can
that.
smell the
Yes,
three-dimensional
you can
structure
do
of the
that.
leaves.
Um,
Clearly.
No, they could smell the.
Smell the drugs. Smell the drugs in the fossil
In the
leaves.
fossil.
Before my
Yeah, of
talk,
course.
I did have a student give
They
a
could
talk,
find.
which
Yes.
was
Find fossil
a
marijuana.
student
Find
telling
fossil
me that
coke.
I was wrong when I
Your master's
did
was
part of my
wrong.
class. Not all of it.
Just the important
just-
parts.
No, just the discussion.
Okay, so the important
Yeah.
parts.
No, the results were fine, but my throwaway discussion based off no data was incorrect.
Which is the
Which
great talk that Emily gave.
Yes.
Yes.
The really best thing is when I thought about that project, I was watching Planet Earth 2, watching the flamingos. I'm like, we could do that, and then it turns out that they are flamingos.
That was so cool. I thought that was amazing because I was like, these things make no. My only experience with Eurypterids is when I bought the stuffed one in Denver, and that's all I know about Eurypterids. So they're really,
That one doesn't eat much.
No, it doesn't. It definitely does not.
I mean,
Wait,
it ate a
some
lot
of
of stuff.
flamingos, I feel like.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
Really,
so
yeah,
this
that-
is looking at there are certain groups that have these very fine hairs coming off the edge of their actual limbs, and one of the thoughts has been proposed that maybe they were sweet feeders.
Mm.
And
Actually, we talk about it in the abstract, so we probably can't talk about my results because it's published.
There- okay. Well, there is there's a whole group, and
I guess this has been out on the internet for months.
Who's reading it?
anyway, there was a study on sweep feeders or filter feeders that was looking at the size of the prey based upon the distance, but the average distance measured between
Oh.
the individual fronds. And so this was applied to the sweep feeders
Okay.
or the proposed hypothetical sweep feeders.
This is when I was listening to education talk.
Yes, this is. And it turns out only 2 of those species probably have small enough prey size to be sweep
It's
feeders.
very good. She's got these two things like non-sweet feeders and sweet feeders, and there's this big smear across both. She goes, I want you to notice that the scale bars on these graphs are both the same. So basically there is like no difference between the
Yeah.
things that we were calling sweet feeders and the things that we were saying weren't sweet feeders. And then the stuff that does have smaller mesh sizes is the stuff that very obviously has smaller mesh sizes. And everything else is just more spines. It's not.
Those 2 species
active.
have
Yeah.
sweep feeder spacings that are about equivalent to the bristles that are associated with flamingos as
Okay.
they're sweeping through to try and get
Yep,
the krill in.
2 different species of flamingos,
Yeah.
and then there are 2 species of anomalous cat that also do it. And interestingly enough, they correlate to the same flamingos, so I wonder if there's something there.
Just the
But-
fact that they're specifically going
Yeah,
for krill.
they line up
Yeah.
pretty
Zooplankton.
similarly.
Yeah.
I was like, so Eurypterids are flamingos.
Yes.
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 So now we can just
So
we
we
can
should remake the plushie pink.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was
In
gonna
fact,
say.
if there was a press release that's like these Europeans are flamingos, somebody would draw them pink. That is exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we just keep saying it right now,
Yes.
Yes.
hoping that
Eurypterids are
someone
pink.
on on the
And then
internet.
click your heels 3 times. Your kids are pink.
I do. There's no place like pink
Characters are pink.
characters. There's no place like pink characters.
Although, flamingos, we could call them by another name that we invented in class once. Then we were going to publish it, so that it has to be suppressed. We were going to call flamingos fuck off goals, so that it had to be addressed to the taxonomic literature. Amanda was very pro this idea.
What is their Latin name?
Flamingos are Phoenicia something or other.
It's definitely not fuck off goals.
Yeah,
I'm just letting you know that right
Yeah.
now.
Because they're like big fuck off goals.
I see no problem with this.
Then there were brachiopods.
Yeah,
Brachiopods.
which you already talked about in APC.
But now there were more of them.
We didn't talk about how entertaining your talk was, though.
That's very true. You can talk about a lot as much as you want.
I felt so bad though, because there was just when you hit the wall, and all of a sudden there was no voice.
Yes.
just non-spontaneous laryngitis.
Spontaneous laryngitis in a single moment.
Yes, and then I still my favorite was when you made everyone stop so that you could take a drink.
That was my Kaioken moment. I just needed to make sure I could get through the fight.
It was wonderful.
See, it sort of sailed by, I thought.
Really?
No, I didn't feel like it was like
You
an
took
enormously
a
long
drink.
time
Oh,
for you to take a drink.
No,
it was
no,
just
no,
that
no.
he put his arm
That's
up.
the
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like having to do this.
Hold on.
I'm getting in one moment.
But yeah, that
I'm
was good.
gonna let this talk finish.
Hey,
First,
At least he didn't throw
I
the
didn't-
empty container into the crowd.
I didn't know that you had that up
Missed
the whole time
opportunity.
though, because you were gesticulating and you
Yes.
could see the cup occasionally
Yes.
rise above the computer screen.
That's how I teach.
So what did you see
Oh,
across
let's see.
the way then?
Yeah.
So after lunch, Peg gave a talk.
Thanks.
Oh wait, no,
Mm.
sorry, we didn't. Is that what we started with?
Pegs was opposite one of James' world people.
Oh, you know, I didn't take any
James
notes in
Rolls.
here because she gave us these handouts. So she
Oh.
talked a little bit about statistics and specifically stereotype threat and implicit bias. And she was basically like, we all have implicit bias and we all just need to admit it and then move on with all these strategies. So she gave us this crafting an inclusive paleontology classroom checklist, and you could go through and be like, things that you already do, things that you hope to do,
Yeah.
and then a lot of references about implicit bias training, multiple social identities and stereotype
Cool.
threat, and all that sort of thing. So she put this worksheet so you could all do it online. So I have the link for that.
That'd be
Oh,
cool.
that I can
nice.
send to you.
Yeah,
So that was cool. And so we all just sat there and did this and like talked about it.
that's cool.
And then Matthew Clapham came up and was like, you know that stereotype threat doesn't exist because they did a meta-analysis.
What?
Yeah. Which I read. So I read Claude Steele's book, Whistling Vivaldi. It's like a book club on campus.
That was a
and
good book.
it's a good book, but people have gone back and done a meta-analysis of all the different studies.
Yeah.
And they can't get stereotype
Yeah, it's one
threat
of the-
out of that.
Yeah.
So it's like they show it in all these small studies, but then if you put all the data together,
Well, it's almost as though there's a diffusion if you look at something in aggregate, but localized individual portions. There's
Yeah,
still
and
significant biases.
haven't like looked into it enough myself because I also just feel like there are so many other issues that I can't do too much to
Yes.
control stereotype threat
Yes.
for my students, except and the ways you sort of address it are to be like, hey, everyone think of a happy time, think of something you're good at before
Yeah.
you take a test.
Yeah.
Instead of think of the like stereotype that you represent that makes you potentially not good at
Yes.
quote air
Yes.
quotes this
Yes.
thing. So like
Well, and I think these kinds of exercises
So,
are
yeah.
focused specifically on mindfulness. Like the whole
yeah,
checklist is like,
yeah.
have you even considered this? Like that's an
Yeah,
important
use
way to
active
go
learning,
forward.
ensure content has meaningful real world relevance,
Yes.
Use an objective rubric or scoring system,
Yes.
Take implicit association tests, which I still haven't done.
I would like to tell you about an implicit association test that I took.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
took the same implicit association test several times in the same week. And one of them was right before submitting GSA abstracts like 2 years ago, where every one of the abstracts I was on had women co-authors, and afterwards I took this test and I strongly felt that only women were scientists.
Yeah.
I had like an 87% in favor of women are scientists and not men. Because every co-author that I had just submitted abstracts with was a woman.
I do wonder if maybe one of the reasons why it's so difficult to get these kinds of meta-analyses aggregate is how situational, local, and regional some
So
biases
that's what I
are
thought
going to
about,
be.
and I'm
And
sure
that's why I was talking
people
about the diffusion
have
thing.
argued
Yeah.
about that too. It's just that
You never want to be tried right before lunch.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not that implicit bias doesn't exist, it's that it does change.
Constantly.
Yeah.
It's like the Bayesian bias.
We used to say this about violin recitals when we'd all do like from 8 to 5. We'd have auditions for area Allstate,
Mhm.
and it was sort of like there were good times and bad times to get your audition time. Yeah. Anyway, so that was what happened there. There was also a really cool thing. Darren, and I'm gonna mess up his last name. I think it's Paniak, and Lisa White and Wendy Smith did this big group study. Well, they brought in a bunch of social scientists to study geologists in the field, to like study field camp, and to kind of be like, tell us about treat us like a group of people that you'd be studying for whatever sort of ethnography you would do. Do it to us.
Yes.
And so here are their 3 takeaways.
Okay.
Erosion of boundaries in the field encourages informality and togetherness, but can marginalize those that don't relate.
Yep.
Challenging conditions reinforce toughness, but if you can't keep up, you're out.
Yep.
And alcohol reinforces these traits, and therefore marginalizes those that don't drink. And so they had this huge, well not huge, it was about 26 participants who went to this retreat, and they were working on strategies to deal with these things. So they were presenting some of those things. So their sort of top strategies were accommodating diverse physical abilities, which makes sense. I mean, it's going to be a huge barrier to going in the field.
Yes.
So that's like sort of like the low hanging. And then writing a code of conduct in advance, like together as a group.
Important.
So you like have those boundaries established before you're going out. Talking about other aspects of your field site besides just the geology. Talking about the biology and the history and native culture, whatever applies to wherever you're going. And doing bystander intervention, because a lot of bystander intervention training might be like leave the scene, but if you're at field camp for 6 weeks and it's your culminating experience that is required, you can't just leave the scene if you don't get along with somebody or if they're harassing you. So they did a specific field-oriented bystander training. So
Nice.
That's
really
cool stuff.
Yeah.
But I was also like, that was all in 12 minutes, right?
Yes.
So I was like, this bystander training, can we get it? Like, where is it? How can I bring it to my department? So I have many questions still.
Hopefully that would be available on the internet or through a
Yeah.
short course that they are offering through multiple universities.
Yeah.
That would be a good short course.
So-
Oh, yeah.
I would go to that.
There's bystander training off at WVU, I think, tomorrow.
For field courses?
No, just in general.
Just
No, field camp is a lawless fucking wasteland. So
open up for occasional rape abuse.
No, that's
the
fine.
drink thing is very interesting because I know people that don't drink who feel marginalised and excluded, and I've been told by colleagues, ostensible colleagues, that they don't trust me because I don't go to the bender parties with them. So yeah.
Which is also going to have interesting intersectionality issues with people with histories or cultures or religious perspectives.
Yes. No, and so they actually said that. So someone actually asked a question about what did you decide about that? Because none of these top strategies really deals with alcohol directly. And they were like, yeah, that was the most difficult thing, and we have no solution. They were like, you can ban it, but then they drink behind the scenes, and you can't really be intervening, or you can let them do whatever they want because they're adults, but then it's going to reinforce all these other things that you're concerned about, and so we don't. And because there are so many different reasons you might not or want to, they said that they had a hard time deciding how to broach that. But then I was also thinking, well, if you fix the other two problems about not marginalizing people for these other reasons, then like the alcohol has less to exacerbate. So like you could fix make it a little better.
It's
and
still
less about the drinking and more about these other issues
There's still
versus
an interesting thing that people that drink alcohol and become uninhibited, don't trust people that were in control of their faculties at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they might have something on them, and so
Yes.
they do
No,
not
I
want to be
understand that.
involved.
Well, and then
Yeah.
there's a kind of fundamental like knee-jerk reaction to assuming that if somebody else is doing something that you're not doing, that that they're quietly judging you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a vegetarian. What, you're not good enough to eat meat? What you think you're better than me? Like, it's that kind of shit. It's like, okay, cool. And that it's a source of conflict, and an assumed conflict that doesn't
That
actually
doesn't actually
exist.
exist. Yes, that's true. I'm just made of chickpeas.
Yeah, no, totally.
The actual
Chickpeas
answer
are
is,
lovely.
I'll only eat dolphin.
Oh. Don't do that.
I'll only eat a dolphin.
James just wants to eat manatee.
Very rubbery.
Just on the outside.
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to eat any animal that could probably give me a hug.
Oh. What is Dana's rule? She doesn't
eat anything that spends part of its life cycle in the sea.
Yeah.
Any part of it,
Any part of its life cycle in the ocean, she doesn't eat it.
but that
Fish.
could be anything. Like life cycle
try
or just
finding it.
occasionally.
You just keep throwing the chickens into the ocean and watch them come back.
Does this include seaweed?
I think
Wow.
she means animal product.
Okay.
She definitely animals, but I don't know if she.
So, but aren't
No,
you
I-
forcing yourself to be hyper carnivore by refusing to eat fish?
I mean,
What?
fish are still meat, James. Or you're going hyper Catholic with that one.
No, well, all right. So as a Catholic, we do it based on whether you spend large portions of your life in water.
Because aren't
And-
beavers fish?
Yes, beavers are fish.
Yeah, that's what I
Beavers are fish because there were districts in Canada that would starve that were heavily Catholic if they weren't allowed to eat beaver and like muskrat. So beaver and muskrat and capybara are all fish. So we
I don't know.
can
I'd
eat
probably
them.
rather starve than eat a capybara.
And did you know that giraffe is kosher?
Ooh.
How many
have
toes
you
does it
read,
have?
Roy's paper?
No.
Yeah, on what is and is not kosher
Everything
throughout the
two
entire history
times
of life.
kosher.
Oh
I've
yeah,
heard about
We
this.
podcasted on it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like, that sounds familiar
Yeah.
to me.
It's worthwhile.
Everything
Okay,
is or
I'm on.
isn't kosher.
so
Everything
this
that's
is
kosher. If we
determining.
can travel in time, what could you?
What is and is
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
kosher. Yes.
Oh, I'm
sounds
into
very
this.
fun.
Very fun fact.
you know, I mean, half of the apostles were fishermen, so there's maybe some internal dynamics
Yes.
going on.
So we saw the erosion surface of the PETM.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Speaking of fishermen,
Oh, sorry.
Dissolve the forearms.
That was terrifying.
Dissolve the
That
forearms. In
It
a
was not
straight
just a
line.
forearm, that was freaking clamshells.
There were
and-
clams. No, there were forearms too. There were benedicts.
Yeah, but that was like a clamshell cut in half.
Yeah, and it was a straight line.
Yep.
Etch the world.
You don't get that very often either.
Well, so
So
there's a great there's a great photo of Zachos holding up a core of the PETM boundary, and you can see nice bright white sediments as all these calcium carbonates are deposited, and all of a sudden dark brown
yeah.
and slowly grades back up to white again. And it's like, oh, cool. We can't possibly deposit calcium carbonate. That's not going to be a bad thing for the oceans. It's not like hyper acidification due to increase in carbonate being, or I guess it says carbonate,
Yeah.
bicarbonate specifically,
yes.
in the oceans is going to be a problem. No, we're good.
Mm. And then
Again, fast apocalypse or slow apocalypse.
Just get it over with.
Chickpeas.
and then after the apocalypse, chickpeas can tell us about the recovery from a potential apocalypse.
Along a gradient.
That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, I think
I spent the last part of your talk trying to find like klaxon emojis, and I couldn't, so I had to go with megaphones.
This is on Twitter. Is this why
Yes,
you
yes,
Twitter?
yes,
Alright,
yes.
I'll react.
I
Like,
appreciated
I'll
your
look for my
huge
password.
2-centimeter clams.
it was
Oh, yes,
5
no, that was
centimeters.
very
So the
good.
scale bar was 2 centimeters.
That was very good.
I wrote 5. I said 2 to 5
I
centimeter
didn't mean to
clams.
go there with that, and I couldn't help myself.
Enormous clams.
They were enormous for me.
And then in the future, past sponges.
Did I say that?
A little
No,
bit.
that's how I wrote
I
down.
don't know if I
In the
said.
future, Carlie will be able to describe sponges from a long time ago.
That's
And
all
to be
true.
my shorthand for that was in the future past
This is
sponges.
it. Why does what the question you got? Why do sponges love the East Coast at this time, or something like that?
Eastern Peninsula.
Yeah.
That's Atmos.
I mean, it's when the answer from like the Ordovician sometimes is whenever you get a gradient and then there's not much around, sponges go sure. And
Yeah.
sponges.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And that's what everything is there. It's like real shallow.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Sponges go to
sponges.
I like that.
And there's quite an embayment as well.
Uh-huh.
Like you have all these
Sheltered sponges.
tectonic, arcs off the coast, so you're
Uh-huh.
sort of like a little restricted,
Yeah.
maybe not perfectly open marine.
The sponges
We just
start
pretend it's
growing.
open marine.
Yeah,
and
one
it's
day
like,
I'll be Curt.
I like that song.
One
Good song.
day I'll be Curt. That's the ultimate
One
goal,
day I'll be
is for a sponge to die and then be turned
Curt.
into Curt. Yeah.
One day I'll be a annoyingly shaped nodule.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll give me nightmares.
All familiar with those.
No, that's cool.
Thanks. I invented it yesterday. That's not true. Half of it Laura finished. The other half I finished 2 days ago.
And there were lots of pretty slides.
Thanks.
Okay.
And they weren't cut off, I suppose. I didn't really look because I didn't do the 16:9
No, they all
formatting.
looked right.
I did the 3:4 and then I was like, oh, too late.
Well, I guess I don't know if they looked right, but they all looked like they could have been right.
Yeah.
I did.
I did the 16:9 formatting and felt like my figures were weirdly blown out.
Well, no, what happened is I made it in 3:4 and then I tried to switch it to 16:9 and it just stretches
Yeah,
everything.
mine-
and I was
mine
like,
was-
oh, no, we're going back and I don't care if it's cut off.
Sometimes the way
I did
it used to do it would be it would just put everything in the middle and make everything else.
Yes.
Make a lot of white space on the side.
That would have been fun. I would have actually just gone with that. But then I was like, oh, it just stretched everything. And I was like, after all the time I just spent cropping and framing and putting new scale bars on these,
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that again. And if the bottom is not there, then no one will see the bottom. And that's fine.
Least important part.
So that. What else happened?
I ran back over to inclusivity, so I don't know what the
Oh.
talk in your room was about after.
What did you see there? Because there
I
was something I
saw
wanted
the
to
I
see.
Dig Bio full immersion collections internships trying to improve representation in collections because large portions of currently underrepresented groups never have awareness of collections as possible jobs.
Ah.
And so trying to get people moving in to do internships and also having very competitive pay so that that's not a barrier so that people who have to work during the summer to help support themselves through college don't have to make that choice.
Okay.
And so they put into their grant $15 an hour pay so that people could actually do
You know what
this.
the problem is? California, that's minimum wage.
Yeah, that was minimum wage, but that was.
That's not competitive. My students get minimum wage.
But it's
Or
not.
anything.
It's still better than making the choice of I can do this
Unpaid
internship
internship.
or
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Sure.
trying to correct unpaid internship. So it's
Yes, I had someone
Better.
recently be like, "Oh, can't we just have them work for free?" And I was like, no, no.
I've got this book. It's by Karl Marx. You should just read it for a little while.
they will work for free then.
I mean, California is
No,
spending
it's
a lot
not.
of time trying to reinvent.
That's not Marx, dude.
California tech companies who spend an inordinate amount of time trying to reinvent feudalism.
Yes,
So,
Yes.
they've done it.
Mm. This is the
I
company
suggested it.
cafeteria and the company
I
housing.
genuinely suggested it for our grad program. Like, if we could get them free housing, it doesn't matter that we pay
And then-
them 60.
And then we can just give them
a year
a
because they're not
token
paying rent.
to the
They're
university
completely
store.
beholden to us. Now the trouble is, because it's a capitalist society, we don't own the land holding, so the university would still want to charge us for them staying there.
Mm.
But if we could fix it so that we own land,
Well,
And then just
Cornell,
sort of-
one of my paychecks would just get written immediately back for graduate student housing.
no,
It's
you wouldn't.
very
pay,
close to 1-to-1.
You wouldn't be paying for it. That would be the idea. It'd be,
You wouldn't be paid at all.
yeah, it'd be.
You would get a little ticket that you bring to the
No, but
store
you're
to
saying
make
it has
sure
to be exchanged because of how our society
I
works.
know,
Those-
but I mean, the other thing is that I don't pay you and you get WVU bucks.
That's what I said.
Mountaineer bucks.
Yeah. It's good.
Your mountaineer bucks, good for one bag of rice or a musket.
It's kind of.
Now, if you can tolerate
To end it?
saving up enough food, you could just hoard the muskets, and then we have a new system.
Brendan goes out. He's like 10.
It's okay. The system is foolproof. You're gonna be way too hungry
Right.
to use
I
any of
never
those
told you we were going to
muskets.
sell you ammunition, so you need to save up that rice to use as.
Saltpeter. I feel like
Get
this.
rice going fast enough.
Yes, it's the bugger salt gun, but with rice that you use on faculty.
Oh, we've gone too far now.
So there was Lydia's talk. Unless you've got.
No, there was
something you
Michelle's talk.
want. Michelle's talk too. Just trying to keep moving
I
this
was
along.
still in the inclusivity because after that was the My Fossil, and My Fossil needs more professional paleontologists to participate. So if
So the other
this
problem.
describes you, join that.
What is my fossil?
My
It's
fossil
the fossil that you
is-
own.
Yeah.
Educational, people upload photos. It's sort of
Yeah.
like iNaturalist. Have you ever done
Yeah.
iNaturalist
Yeah.
for fossils?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a social network / uploady thing / they
Yes.
produce 20 newsletters a year, and I have to look at my notes. They do lots of things. They have they help provide money so that like fossil clubs can get professional speakers to come,
Oh, that's nice.
and they have professionals vet information so that people who have like well cataloged collections of material that they have all in their basement, that can become something that's digital and a resource and that people know about.
Can they come to our department? And
We have somebody digitizing your collection.
it's true.
I just realized there's a weird symmetry with the way this entire couch is set up.
It's just because you're both slackers that
Yeah.
are leaning
No, it's
back.
because this is very uncomfortable sitting here.
My knee is in your back.
Yeah, it's
Very
way more
uncomfortable.
comfortable with that than
Well,
it
we're
is.
close to the end, so let's
Yes.
power through.
That's
Yeah.
cool. My only thing about that is I agree with that completely. I wish that the people that employ professional paleontologists would care about such a thing so
Yeah.
it means that we could have the time to do that without
Yeah.
worrying about.
Yeah.
The continued expansion of social media platforms versus
I don't have an
social
Instagram.
media in
Yeah, they have a
general.
lot of Instagram followers. Their
Yeah.
Instagram is
Instagram is
very
so
active.
much work.
Instagram is like you need to take a picture that looks good. And
Right, it actually has to look good on Twitter. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be
I
nice.
don't look
But-
good, so I can't be an Instagram.
But just face the camera that way. That's what I do.
The idea that
You have an
everyone in the
Instagram?
world has to be an Instagram, has to be an influencer.
I love your
is kind of
Instagram,
like-
Brendan. It's just 18 pictures of coffee a day.
that sounds about right.
It would be coffee, and it would be what new paper is Blue reading in my office.
The dark dystopic view where everyone in the world
He
ends
reads
up
so
being
many
an
papers and I don't
influencer,
understand.
ends up being just like the peak late stage
Doesn't
capitalist nightmare.
This is going well.
So this is the point in the day where I started drawing the crab
Okay.
saying snip snip. So
From Lydia.
from Lydia
Yes.
Tackett, the opening slide had a crab and it looked happy. So I tried to draw it
Was
and it
the
didn't
crab
work.
ever addressed?
No.
No.
That's why like you were all talking about Lydia and a crab, and I was like, I sat through that talk. I know that word.
The first
There are no
picture
crabs.
was just
Picture
a
of crab.
crab, and
It's
I'm like,
just crab.
yeah, great, random
It's
crab.
because crabs are durophagous predators, but then
I
all the
know
durophages
that,
he
but
cared
she-
about were fish.
It's all fish, so
Yes.
that's why I didn't
It was
understand why you were
entirely
talking
fish
about crab.
No,
Yeah.
no, they were the brains of toads.
Oh,
This is the
wild.
best
Yes.
thing, and the fact that the medieval people spent a lot of time, even though there's no evidence, trying to retrieve these stones
Yes.
from toads.
Well, we don't know how much
From
time was actually
their
spent.
heads.
Yeah.
And also the
We
figure
don't know how much
describing
time is
that.
Enough that they drew an illustration about
Sure,
it.
but you can say some dude did it and no one actually ever went out to do
Yeah,
it.
I know.
In that illustration, though, the toad was also the size of
Oh,
a
the
man.
human.
Yeah.
Because again, in the Middle Ages, they really understood what animals looked like. Have you seen middle-aged lions?
Yes, but they didn't know what lines. Like there were toads in Europe.
They might not have realised the issue of perspective. That toad could have been very close.
Small, far away.
Yeah. Small, closer.
Far away.
Okay.
That was really cool. So the really cool thing about Lydia's talk is that by looking at the microfossils, i.e. teeth, they have expanded the range of the majority of these fish groups, including durophages and non-durophages, out of the Tethyan.
Yeah, because this is all looking in New Zealand,
Yeah, into
which
the
is an
rest of the
area that
world.
has a not particularly well sampled fossil record.
At the time, when they began, there were 2 New Zealand vertebrate fossils from the
Yes.
Triassic.
A bad ichthyosaur and a shark that is not figured here.
Which I liked. But then by looking at these fish teeth, they allowed for more diversity to be sampled from this one area. Diversity that's comparable to stuff that's happening in Laurentia.
Some of which
North
have been
America.
zeolitized, which is a word that I hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
Even what?
Zeolitized, turned to zeolite. I didn't know that was a thing that happened, so that was cool.
Only New Zealand.
And then I got distracted
Yeah,
because
clearly.
the things that were
Yes.
never addressed, where there were 2 labeled things that could have been space or boreholes, and they were named Gore and Clinton. And I was hoping
And
that
then
would be
whispered to me, I'm like,
explained,
what?
and then that was never
Yeah.
explained. And I think they're towns,
I think they're probably towns.
Could be.
but at least New Zealand was there. It was a map of New Zealand, so
So
it didn't suffer from that problem where New Zealand disappears off maps.
we could see where it was in association with all the rest of the continents.
And there were many tiny teeth and many tiny fish teeth and one big pointy fish tooth that they don't know what it is yet.
Do we know it was fish tooth?
Yeah,
No.
it looked fish tooth.
Could it be croc tooth? Crocodile tooth?
It didn't look
I
crocodile.
thought
Okay, it looked
Or
like a
crocodile
spinosaur
teeth
tooth.
rounder. It was very long and thin,
I mean, gharials.
maybe. I don't know.
But they're
But it was-
those
it was
names
still
because they're kind
also-
of gar-like.
Yeah, but it's still a crocodile.
But I'm like,
But there were
That's
there were
awesome.
many crushy
Definitely not.
teeth, and then
Yeah.
there were a couple of piscivorous teeth. And then Nevada is not New Zealand. Was the end of the talk, as far as I know. They looked at stuff in Nevada, and Nevada was also not sampled before that, and it was different. But more on that
but I
later.
thought there was some overlap within some things. Like they're at least seeing species that they're, or at least groups that they're finding more diverse.
I needed coffee at this point in the day, or whatever it was. Nevada is not New Zealand.
Truer words
I
were
mean-
never spoken.
It's Panthalassa. It does its own thing.
And then I have all notes about Carlie, but this is from work.
Okay. Michelle's Endosymbiont stuff is like the last thing I remember seeing.
It was before Lydia's talk.
It was
Ugly shells.
ugly shells.
Have-
Except for one spot where apparently nothing ugly wants to grow on the shells.
But it's because it's heavily fished
Yes.
and it dredges up all the dirt, so nothing that filter feeds, which is what grows on shells, wants to live.
Yes.
And trends that we expect that are the opposite of what we expect.
Yes. They saw a shift in endosymbiont abundance that was not dependent on the taxonomy of the shell, but it was not in the direction that they thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Oh, and there are 2 different types of shells, one big, one small, but they both have the same general abundance
Yes.
distribution of endosymbionts, so they're...
Because one is a true quahog and one is a fake quahog, which apparently tastes less good than the real quahog.
To us.
Sure.
Or to...
To us.
To those of us that eat animals.
They're both
I make exceptions for clams.
they're both clams that can be
So, like,
fished.
Maybe like 1% clam.
Do you only get ones that have
Chickpeas,
Chickpeas,
rice,
Do you just go for the
1% clam.
Do you just go for the clams that have photosynthetic endosymbionts, so it's basically a plant?
Yeah, that would be a good
It's like that
strategy.
little bit
Yeah.
of oyster sauce in the mix, just to
Oh.
make it nice
Yeah, I
and
don't
savory.
ask what the broth was.
Fish sauce in your curry.
Marshmallows occasionally.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
so that's recycling.
Yeah,
I eat gelatin.
who
That's
doesn't
recycling.
love recycled horse?
The marshmallows aren't horse.
Yeah, that's fallacy.
That's
It's just
blue.
bone marrow.
Yeah, it's bone marrow from cows.
I'm not gonna like shy away from what it is I'm eating.
Yeah.
It's delicious when you mix it with sugar and food coloring.
And then it's like when we heard the colloquium talk about the vegetarians that were selling leather, and I did wonder about the moral justification of that, but it's also recycling. Yeah, but if they're vegetarian, that means that they're killing cows and throwing the meat in the trash, and then just
Right.
selling the
Or
leather.
or they're taking the remains and just working with it. It's a possibility too.
So did either of you see anything else that you'd like to mention?
I was really tired in the afternoon.
I saw Renee Clary from Mississippi talk about doing paleontology with her students, but then also doing some modern biology, kind of like a bio blitz, when you go and like collect a bunch of things and see and just get a snapshot. She didn't use those terms, but it seemed to be like they went out to a remnant prairie in Mississippi and we're looking at modern ecology to compare to the fossil ecology, just to put more context into paleontology, like combining with modern bio and making it more relevant to the community. And so they did this whole study where after they had done the fossil work and the modern biology work, the students had to write a proposal about whether or not they should conserve this prairie site or let it be developed, because that is something that is like up for consideration in their community.
So they get told how much money they'd make if they let it be developed?
I don't know.
Did they get told that if they don't let it be developed, birds will come with sticks and burn it down?
It wasn't in Australia.
That's a conversation that was never recorded on the podcast, James. That's a joke that doesn't work. This was one of the many. This was a solution. Multiple solutions to, again, the problem was just to release these Australian birds that are pyromaniacs into certain places that are fire prone across the world, just to see what happens. Because James's solutions to everything is to light it on fire and watch the world burn.
I mean, it would help California.
That was exactly where it was being placed.
Clear out the palm trees.
Not trees.
Anyway,
Just kiddly.
so it was interesting if you struggle to do like sort of community oriented paleontology in terms of like how do your students go out into the community with paleontology to make a difference.
Yeah.
You know, like working at the food bank that doesn't really relate to paleontology. So they'd be teaching things in terms of outreach, but if you wanted something different, this is something that she had done to sort of address that need. So
Cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that was me.
Awesome. I got nothing else. We've shambolically stumbled through this.
Yeah,
Day 2.
day 2.
Oh, it's only 2?
Yeah.
There's another 3 days.
Uh-huh.
2.
Is
I'm
it
in the
days?
morning on day 4.
I am hosting a session on Wednesday morning.
Woo woo!
I got voluntold.
That's the best type.
What's the session on?
I don't remember.
I'm not in your session.
It's a paleobotany,
Okay.
mostly. It's paleontology and paleobotany.
So if you are surprised, congratulations.
My
You're now
affiliation
paleobotanist.
for that is Minnesota, and I don't know why. I have never ever been associated with the University of Minnesota.
That's
You know, is that state from up north because of them?
You're
But
15
not the
minutes.
right one.
I'll believe you all.
Maybe
I
they're
was just saying you have
explaining
15
you
minutes to
feedback.
fit your schedule.
Bedtime.
Fine. We don't
Vomit.
need to
Yeah.
See ya.
Adios.
Bye.
You might want
Yeah,
this.
I want that. And my picture with John Hendricks.
Yes.
Today.
Yes, always important.
Well, because I replaced him.
You replaced John?
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
left San Jose State, so that's why I got that job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you meant you like physically just took him out somewhere, and now you are going to. Okay.
Now I'm
I
gonna
was
wear
wondering.
his skin around the conference. I wonder if people will set the
Is this better?
That was horrifying. And I've got great ideas for Halloween costumes. Always looking for this
The John Hendricks suit Halloween
Just
costume.
walking around with the
But
John Hendricks
actually, it
joke
would be
that
a
will
great
never-
Halloween costume for me in my department,
It would
where
be very
everyone
good.
knows him better
Yes.
than they know me, even. So actually, that would work.
I look forward to seeing this.
I don't know how I'm gonna pull that off, though. I'm gonna have to like cut my hair a certain way. But
Or you can just like kind of style and wear a hat. I
I
don't
have
know.
to get a wig. He's blonde. He's got
He's
short,
very
comb
blonde, yeah.
sides. That's
Yeah.
not any of those things. So
A bunch of negatives of cone snails.
yeah, I'll
You
just
be the negative image of him holding a cone snail, and then the dark works instead of the blonde.
But I still have to cut my hair, which I'm willing to do.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm willing to do it. Anyway, it's been real.
Have a
I'll
good
see you
night.
tomorrow morning.
Farewell.
I want to die.
That's That seems like a good
I
time
was
to
doing
shut it.
okay, and then I hit a real wall
Yeah.
that had nothing else to add.
Yep.
Didn't help that I also felt that way during those talks. And so I was like, I don't know what's happening.
The real issue here is with you in the back and everybody wanting to address across means that Brendan and I have to do this the entire time, and then you call us lazy while our backs are breaking so that people can talk to you,
See,
which is the only person they're talking at.
Nobody
You
was
were
talking
lazy,
to me.
he's intimidating. There's a difference.
Well, I think that James is only really concerned that I intimidate students if I lean forward. So this is an alternative attempt.
No, the trouble is, Brendan has, when he stares at people, he half closes his eyes while he does it. And so it's kind of like Clint Eastwood's about to shoot you.
Oh, okay. I know what you're thinking. Did it fire 5 times or fire 6 times? Do you feel lucky? Do you? Not do you?
Anyway, so Brendan has personified the ... email.
I've been traumatized by the fact that Warren doesn't understand that an ellipsis in an email is concerning. So he says things like, I sent him a forwarded email about something related to a paper we're writing.
Is this a conversation
It
that...
can go on
Okay.
the podcast.
I just want to remind everyone that there's still a camera. Carlie left.
I
There's
know.
still a camera going.
I know. So, no, because Carlie and I both talked to Warren about this today. And Dana and I
So is
have
this
talked to him
dragging?
about
Are
this
you just
before.
dragging somebody who just left the podcast?
No,
Go ahead.
we talked to Warren about this. Who's going to get upset?
Fine, fine.
So Warren doesn't understand that punctuation in digital media is emotional and not grammatical.
Yes.
So he sent me I sent him a forwarded email about something related to a paper that we need to write now. And he said, I'll see you at GSA, we'll talk, ... Thus forcing me into like the automatic mental state of and
It would have only been better if it was, we need to talk.
Yes, because that is never good, even if it is.
Mhm.
Like you can't. You
no, it
cannot
wasn't
say
we
those
need
words
to
to
talk.
people.
It was we'll talk at GSA ... And we've spoken to him about this. He is aware that it causes us anxiety, but he doesn't understand that it legitimately causes us anxiety. Because we know that
I
he
mean,
doesn't. We
Feel
know
anxiety. So,
we know intellectually that he is not conveying that something is wrong.
Yeah.
But we know viscerally that something is wrong.
that's called cognitive dissonance.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes.
You're the one who knows how to shut it off, dude. If you want
Okay,
to
I
And
need to
we
get out.
cleverly
I must
trapped
escape.
him.
Oh, that's true. But
Enough
the
of all
useful
that
person
clever
where they
trap.
can't do anything.
Yeah. We don't actually